we did My Fair Lady at school, and me being me, I was like, oh, I need to play Eliza Doolittle. Unfortunately, in an all-girls school, I ended up playing Freddie Eynsford Hill. I'm buying a coaster over there. So yeah, it's always been a role that I've loved. So when I saw it on the Tower Theatre website, I thought, well, now's the time to fulfill my Eliza dreams. I mean, not the singing and dancing, but the role is good for me.
Because she's very feisty, isn't she?
And she's just fun. And also, who doesn't want to get turned into a nice, eloquent, well-spoken lady by the end of it? So it's fun being able to play a character that's just starts and ends at polar opposites of the spectrum of her character. I love her.
And Dickon, tell us about your character, because you come at a few blows, don't you?
Well, there's a lot of clashes between the pair of us. I think Henry Higgins, he's just such a complex character, I think is the word, because he's not instantly likeable, but as an actor you have to make him likeable, because otherwise you just lose the audience. And he's very direct, he's very blunt, it's sort of almost autistic, but we're not kind of properly going down that route. But he doesn't have a filter. So playing someone with no filter but trying to make him likeable and funny, and not people just going, oh, I can't believe he said that. Because there are a lot of moments where, particularly talking to Eliza.
Some very colourful insults.
Yeah. And Emily, tell us, how has it been for you directing this show? Because it is such a classic story. How does it feel bringing it back to the stage?
It's classic, but it's timeless. I mean, Bernard Shaw used to joke and call himself the new Shakespeare. And maybe, time is proving him right, because, the wit, the humour, but also the topicality of the issues that the play addresses, are still very, very relevant. And so it's been much fun. It's a play that you sit in rehearsal and hear it for 3 months and you still laugh. Also because, of the wit and, the complete un-PC language. And it's been great, it's been a great creative challenge as well to try and bring it on stage in a way that gives that flavour of the past and the journey in London, which is a really interesting time of change, where you got the phonograph, for example, a lot of technological changes that a phonetics professor uses in his trade. He's a real pioneer, and it goes hands in hand with social mobility. So there is an opportunity for people like Eliza Doolittle and her father, the famous Alfred Doolittle, to actually move up. And translating that in a way that is, it kind of translates the relevance to today's audience has been challenging, and it's been really, really fun as well.
So how true have you stayed to the original script? Because I think many people see this story in My Fair Lady and that sort of thing, but actually the original script is a bit more fruitful with its language, let's say.
And yes, with the language, with the depiction of the character. I mean, I'm not going to swear on TV, but also it's very interesting to see how some of the language that was considered proper then is actually absolutely improper today, which makes the play even kind of shocking. And so it's still kind of very relevant.
Absolutely. And when it comes to bringing this all to life on stage, of course, you have the rest of the cast with you. Has it been a real journey to get to this point where, at time of recording now, we are just moments away from opening night?
Do you know what? Since day one, because Dick and I had our recall together, there was just, this sounds so cheesy, but there was just this instant, I don't know, just this...
bond.
Yeah. We're really good sparring partners, which is really lucky to have someone to kind of really just throw anything at and know that playful nature is reciprocated. And I mean, yeah, we get on really well, which works for our clashes on stage.
And I think that's the same with the cast, because my character interacts with quite a lot of the other cast as well, who, are all wonderful. I mean, we've got Emilia's put together a fantastic cast. And for me, getting to sort of spar off against, even if I'm not sparring with them, I'm being quite sort of rudely dismissive of them, whether it's just a withering look or whether it's just telling someone to sit down, and their reactions, and it's a proper. I mean, we're all kind of giving and taking, which has been, I mean, all of these guys. I mean, Kevin playing Alfred Doolittle has just been an absolute joy to really kind of feel the smell.
And of course it's all set in Edwardian London, which of course a very long time ago. Times are very different. For the pair of you, when you're going through the script and reading the lines and dressing in these amazing costumes, do you really feel like you're immersing yourself into that time?
It doesn't feel too distant. I know that sounds peculiar, but it does, like Emilia said, the story, the principles, everything just transcends time. And even though I'm trying to breathe in a corset, I kind of forget. And we're just these people.
It's such a weird play in that it was written over 100 years ago. And yet it is so relevant to today. It's about a bunch of misfits that are trying to fit in or make someone fit in where they don't fit in, and you can put that to so many different walks of life today. You sort of have the Instagram lifestyle of people living these Instagram lives, but behind the camera, they're living the normal, regular life, and not this influencer life that they all like to think that they're living. And that's essentially what Bernard Shaw is saying, is that we all want to. I mean, he says, this is an age of upstarts, and that's essentially what's happening today. Everyone is trying to better themselves, but we don't automatically fit in. I mean, you could take, Meghan Markle, the royal family. She's technically a princess, but half the country aren't accepting her as a princess.
Yeah, it's an age-old story which seems to be retold and everyone can relate to in some way. And this is playing at the Tower Theatre, and I have to say, we have covered this in the past. Tell us about the Tower, because it is very much based in the community, created by the community. How does it work in a production like this?
Well, it was founded in 1932. It had some big name passing through it, and masses of passion for theatre. This is the beauty of it. It really brings in people who are, nothing taken off from professional actors, but the passion of someone who does it at a second and third job and puts night in. It's incredible, and really translates in production that really speak to the audience on a different level. The space, as Dickon was saying, the new space is bringing back all the production under one roof after, I think, around 20 years that the Tower was kind of itinerant around various theatres in London. It's a beautiful space. I mean, it's really exceptional. It used to be various churches and then a gym, and it's got like a hexagonal tower, so it's a really quirky space as well. Quite difficult from the directing point of view, which is adds to the creative challenge, and there's just that feel, you come in and the bar feels like that kind of like social space where everyone is really feeling they can talk, and there's no kind of boundaries of backstage and front stage, and it's wonderful. And
run by a really hard-working core of volunteers. I mean, everyone is volunteering and everyone pitches in and helps with all the different productions. I mean, they do about, I think it's between 18 and 20 productions a year.
Yes.
And there are lots of very familiar faces. This is my 5th show with Tower. And there are lots of familiar faces that will always pop up and help when you're doing the get-ins, you're doing get-outs, behind the bar, doing front of house. And now that they've got their new base in Stoke Newington, it's brilliant, and it will change the way that Tower has been operating for the last 20 years for the better.
Yeah.
Well, given the volunteering element, it seems like a lot of people just do it for the love of it.
Absolutely,
Really lovely. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us. We wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Break a leg with the brand new show.
Thank you.
And if you would like to catch this performance of Pygmalion, it's open now until the 22nd of June at the Tower Theatre.